Hi everybody, Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, JW Morrison. I was just about to prepare for a study on the resurrection of Jesus, which one of the listeners has asked me to do, but I've found this article. I think we need to look at it together. It's religiously based. It's not Jehovah's Witness based, I don't think, but it is religiously based. In Perth, Australia, a teen's been accused of triple murder, suffers apparent he's had a psychotic attack in the court. Right, now we'll come back to the story, but I just want to read this. A 19-year-old man accused of murdering a mother and two of her children has broken down in an apparent psychotic episode in a Perth court. Teacom Vernon Peterson Crofts, who is related to the family, fronted Midlands Magistrate Court on Monday without a lawyer. During a reading of the charges, Mr. Peterson Crofts spoke over Magistrate Greg Smith a number of times. He's a criminal, Mr. Peter Crofts said, of an unknown person. Now, I'd like to know what the background of this is. He went on, he went to take me out bush. He did it. He came back for my family. So this kid knew something that obviously the prosecutors don't know. When Mr. Smith told him he did not need to say anything, Mr. Peter Crofts went on. I needed to because Mama is with me. I was painting a picture of Jesus and stayed there for 2 months. He punched me so hard in the head. So hard it wasn't funny. I left because I was scared he was going to kill me. Mama told me to save myself. When court security attempted to calm him, Mr. Peter Crofts lashed out at one of the guards. Now, this is what's happening to the Jehovah's Witness organisation as well. People are starting to lash out. They've had enough. They've had enough of this religious evil. What are you looking at, serial killer? He looks like a serial killer and he's a security guard, the guy said. Mr. Smith said that due to concerns regarding Mr. Peter Crofts' mental health, hi Aaron, he would be remanded in Franklin Centre on a hospital order for a week before his next court appearance. Franklin Centre is a high-security facility based on the Greylands campus. The centre will prepare a report on the mental fitness of the accused to be presented at Stirling Magistrates Court on July 23rd. Authorities claim Mr. Peterson Crofts called police to a 7-Eleven store in Ellenbrook in the early hours of Sunday. It is still unclear how the teen, who attended a Catholic private school in Perth, is related to the victims. The call-out led officers to a confronting crime scene in a house just a few streets away where police found the bodies of the 48-year-old mother, Michelle Peterson, and her 8-year-old son, Rua. Her 15-year-old daughter, Bella, was located critically injured in the backyard and was rushed to hospital where she died of her injuries. One homicide detective was described what they found at the home on Brankston Crescent in the northeastern Perth suburb as potentially the most horrific crime scene he had ever been called to. Police were seen taking a large pair of scissors from the scene on Monday. Might have been a scissor attack. Please help these kids. A close friend of Michelle's, Tony Ate, set up an online charity page to help surviving children with funeral expenses. My friend and her kids were tragically killed today in Ellenbrook and her surviving children need your help, she wrote on her Facebook page yesterday. I don't know about you, but I've had to find the money for a funeral before and they don't mess around. They want money up front. I know Shell's kids don't have money for the funeral, a casket, let alone 3. Please help me to take some pressure off these kids, she said. Shelley Sick was my friend. She was kind, happy, loved her kids, all of them unconditionally. Times in her life she was rough, she was flawed, but we all are. No one is perfect, and Shell tried. She was always good to me, always supported me, always made me feel like a better person, she said on her GoFundMe pledge. Right now I feel lost, I want to help, and this is the only way I know how. Mrs. Ata also penned a heartfelt tribute on a Facebook page on Sunday. My heart is aching from crying. My jaw is sore from clenching it. This is where I hold my stress. To everyone who reached out with kind and loving words, I thank you, most importantly to those who are grieving their losses too, her mum, her children, her friends. My heart is so broken for you. You are in everyone's prayers. In each other we find strength. a crime that will send shockwaves through the community. Assistant Commissioner Paul Steele said at a press conference on Sunday that while details were still emerging, he believed the incident would have a profound impact on the victims' families and the Western Australian community. At this particular point in time, there's a very complex and I would say horrific crime scene in place, and it will take us some time to process the scene, and that could be days, he said. This is a terrible tragedy for the family involved, for their extended family, and for those first responders who were forced to attend what was a horrific crime scene. My heartfelt condolences go out to all those who have been affected by this tragedy. It's a crime that I know will send shockwaves throughout the community of Western Australia. I can assure members of the community that WA Police are applying all resources that we can to get to the bottom of what's happened here. Neighbour Matthew Schreck told the ABC he had been woken by a disturbance at the home about an hour before police arrived. I just heard a lot of screaming and yelling and a bit of fighting, and the cops flew past here and headed up that way. He said, it was really loud yelling and screaming. It sounded pretty bad. It sounded like a man. Member for Swan Hills Jessica Shaw described the incident as shocking. Ellenbrook is such a tight-knit community. I know many people will be deeply affected, Ms. Shaw said. The fact that young people are involved is particularly tragic, and we have effects right through our local communities. I know that support services are being made available at children's schools for those who need it. My thoughts are with the victims' family and friends. At a time like this, it's important that we do all we can to support one another. People keep themselves. A neighbour who's close to the house in Ellenbrook said the first she heard about the incident was when police arrived, and she was shocked. Such a horrific crime had happened so near her home. We've been here for 3 years, and it's usually such a quiet street, she said. People usually keep to themselves. I just woke up and went out the front, and there were police everywhere. The mother of small children said police were frequently at the address believed to be a public housing authority property, but she did not know the residents. Forensic officers and homicide detectives remain at the scene as the investigation continues. A 25-metre stretch of Brixton Crescent remains closed to the public, and so on and so forth. Now, this was a religiously, it's got a religious background to it, this crime. Let's see the news report and then we'll go from there. I can't hear anything.
This morning, Homicide Squad detectives have charged a 19-year-old Ellenbrook man with the murders of a 48-year-old woman, a 15-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy. Now, it's understood he's also related to the victims, but we'll have more on that when he appears before the Midland Magistrates Court later today.
Yeah. And so, James, what have police said about what happened in Ellenbrook over the weekend?
So officers were called to a convenience store not far from here at about 1:30 yesterday morning, and they arrested the man there and proceeded to the home here in Ellenbrook, where they made the discovery of a crime scene which senior officers have described as one of the most horrific they've dealt with. In the backyard, they found...
I just want to say the Australian police don't muck around.
Her 15-year-old daughter critically injured. She was rushed to hospital but tragically died on the way.
Terrible story. Okay. Well, this is Dr. Jason W. Morrison. Again, this is it's got a religious overtone to it somewhere in there.
There are claims this morning that the teenager accused of murdering his mother and her 2 children in Perth tried to get treatment at a public hospital just hours before their deaths. Fairfax is reporting that 19-year-old Teakum Peterson Crofts presented to an emergency department in a psychotic state but was turned away.
Now, this guy's probably singing out for help. He's obviously saying there's something wrong here. Can somebody help? But they haven't listened, have they?
Police are yet to confirm the reports, but the teenage accused has been taken to a high-security psychiatric facility ahead of his next court hearing.
This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison signing off. Bye for now. Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like. Maybe even comment. If you watch it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, Thank you for watching, and bye for now.